voice. According to our intel, the secure communication arrays are near your location.
Greetings, John here once again with the Xbox One beta version of Homefront: The Revolution. It's a game that has been through a rather difficult development cycle, but things are finally coming together for its upcoming release this May. And while it may be called Homefront, this new game shares little with its predecessor. It takes a more open-ended approach to a KPA-occupied Philadelphia alongside a game design that falls closer to the original Crysis as opposed to, say, Call of Duty, which the original Homefront attempted to mimic. The maps here are large and fully explorable, encounters feel somewhat unscripted, and as one would hope from a CryEngine game, you can knock down trees. And who doesn't love that? Yet there is clearly still work to be done here before this vision can be fully realized. There are a number of issues that need work before the game is ready, at least on Xbox One. Of course, it's important to remember that we're looking at a beta version of the game here. Homefront: The Revolution is still months away from release, and the developers have time to polish things up. Unlike many beta releases over the past few years, this feels less like a demo and more like a legitimate information gathering exercise. And this is important to note here as, in its current state, there are significant performance issues that need to be addressed. Issues that can be divided into two groups: network performance and graphics performance. Networking wise, the game's prediction seems to be the real issue here. Running around the map is a jerky affair with the player model lurching around in a highly unnatural manner, while animations of both allies and enemies stutter and glitch out regularly. Looking around at footage of others that took place in this beta test demonstrates that we were far from the only players encountering this problem. Networking has never been a strong point of CryEngine, but we're hopeful that things can be improved by launch. Also remember that this issue would not impact the single player portion of the game. But then we come to graphics performance. More than anything else, Homefront: The Revolution demonstrates exactly why frame persistence is so important. You can see from the frame time graph over here on the left that the game spends a great deal of time fluctuating between different values, something which translates directly into an unstable, spotty presentation. The issue here is that the beta runs with a completely unlocked frame rate and an adaptive VSync solution, which sees tear lines appear along the top portion of the image during gameplay. The frame rate averages around 33 frames per second, but it can range from the low 20s up to the mid 40s at any point. On paper, a 33 FPS average actually sounds pretty decent, but the inconsistent frame persistence combined with the aforementioned networking issues results in an extremely jerky experience. The fact that the frame rate is averaging above 30 frames per second does at least give us hope, however. Simply capping the frame rate at 30 FPS could help the game feel so much smoother here. After all, the animation itself is excellent, as evidenced by the PC footage floating around, and stable performance could really help it shine on consoles. And visually speaking, the game has a lot of potential as well. The maps in the beta aren't particularly flashy, but there is plenty of destruction to enjoy, a nice implementation of parallax occlusion mapping on a wide variety of surfaces, and some surprisingly large and detailed maps to explore. And that's pretty much the situation right now. Performance isn't up to snuff on Xbox One, but it actually seems within the grasp of the game's developer to solve these issues. Simply capping the frame rate at 30 FPS with no further optimizations would already lead to a more consistent experience. Beyond that, the game itself seems far more interesting and ambitious than the original Homefront ever did. There is still a lot of work to be done here, but if things come together in time for release, Homefront: The Revolution could prove to be a highly engaging shooter. And with that, let's go ahead and wrap this video up. If you enjoyed this one, be sure to check out the rest of our videos over on YouTube. And until next time, John out.